They told you to attract it, to visualize it, to write it down 10 times a day and feel it in your bones. But what if I told you that the very act of trying to attract something is the very thing keeping it away? This is the illusion no one talks about, the spiritual trap of attraction. When you believe you must pull something into your life, whether it's love, abundance, peace, or purpose, you're unconsciously reinforcing that it's not here yet, that it's outside of you, distant, separate. And this belief creates a vibrational gap between you and the reality you desire. In the quantum field, that gap is everything. See, the universe doesn't respond to want. It responds to being. The quantum field is not a catalog that you browse with desire. It's a mirror that reflects your frequency with mathematical precision. Every time you long for something, you're broadcasting lack. Every time you chase, you're vibrating from the absence of what you say you want. And the field, loyal and unjudging, reflects it back. This is where most people get stuck. They affirm with their mouth but contradict with their frequency. They meditate in the morning and then panic the rest of the day. They say they believe in, but deep down they're vibrating fear, doubt, impatience. The result? The same loops, the same stuckness, the same manifestations, or lack thereof. But here's the awakening. You don't need to attract what you already are. You don't magnetize what's distant. You collapse into what's already available in the field. Everything you desire already exists, not as fantasy, but as frequency. In the quantum realm, all possibilities coexist simultaneously, like channels on a radio. You're not summoning anything new into existence. You're simply tuning into what's already been there, waiting for you to match it. This is the shift from attraction to alignment, from pulling to embodying, from wishing to becoming. Joe Dispenza calls this the field of infinite potentials, a realm where every version of your life already exists as energy. And when your thoughts, emotions, and identity align with one of those timelines, reality collapses. Not because you earned it, not because you forced it, but because you became the version of you who lives it. This means the work isn't out there. It's not about scripting or rituals or waiting for signs. It's about coherence, becoming internally consistent with the life you say you want. It's about feeling now what you used to wait for, acting now as if it's already true, thinking now like the version of you who already has it, not out of delusion but out of energetic precision. The truth is, you're not attracting anything. You're remembering, returning, realigning. The you who already has what you desire is not in the future. It's in a parallel possibility, accessible through frequency. So let me ask you, what if the delay you're experiencing isn't about divine timing, but about vibrational dissonance? What if the field is already trying to give it to you, but your identity is rejecting it because it doesn't yet match the signal? We begin this journey not by doing more, but by seeing differently, by waking up to the greatest illusion in the world of manifestation, that you need to get what you already are. Once you understand this, the chase ends, the noise quiets, and a deeper knowing takes over. You were never separate from your dream life. You were just tuned to the wrong frequency. This video is not about teaching you how to attract, it's about showing you how to collapse into your power, into your truth, into your timeline. Because the future isn't something you reach, it's something you embody. And the quantum field, it's been waiting for your signal all along. What if everything you've ever wanted already exists? Not in some distant future, but right here, in a version of the now you haven't accessed yet. This is not a metaphor, it's quantum reality. In classical thinking, life moves linearly, cause then effect. You act, then results show up. But in the quantum world, time is non-linear. Reality doesn't unfold in a straight line. It exists as a spectrum of infinite outcomes, all vibrating in potential, waiting for one thing, your alignment. In this realm, you don't attract a new reality. You tune into it. You access it. You collapse it. Let's bring this closer. At the quantum level, everything behaves as both particle and wave. A wave is a field of pure potential, endless possibilities, until it's observed. When a conscious being places attention on that wave, it collapses into a specific outcome. This is not theory, it's physics. The famous double-slit experiment proves it again and again. Reality behaves differently when it's observed. Your observation is not passive, it's generative. It doesn't watch reality happen. It decides what becomes real. This is where quantum manifestation begins, not by asking the universe to bring you something, but by becoming the kind of energy that resonates with what already exists. Think of your desires like frequencies on a radio. The abundance you crave? It's on a station. The love you long for? It's vibrating at a frequency. Your dream life is not behind a locked door. It's broadcasting right now. But if you're tuned to lack, fear, doubt, or survival, you'll never hear that station. Not because it doesn't exist, but because you're not in resonance with it. This is where resonance becomes the master key. In the quantum field, like attracts like isn't just philosophy. It's science. Everything has a frequency. Every thought, every emotion, every belief. When your inner state matches the frequency of your desired outcome, the field doesn't deliver, it mirrors. Your identity becomes the signal. Your energy becomes the command. This is where Neville Goddard's teachings meet quantum physics. His timeless principle, assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, is not about pretending. It's about embodying. Feeling now what your future self feels naturally, not as an act, but as a signal, a declaration, a collapse. You don't collapse a new reality by thinking hard enough. You do it by being it. This is why people who chase outcomes often delay them, because the act of chasing vibrates from the belief, I don't have it yet. That frequency can only access more of the same, longing, separation, waiting. But when you shift into presence, not wishful presence but vibrational coherence, you move from asking to allowing, from wishing to receiving. Let's simplify. Reality isn't something outside of you, it's something inside your frequency range. Your job isn't to pull it in, it's to tune in. That means regulating your internal state to match the version of life you want to live. It means feeling abundant before the money comes, feeling loved before the relationship arrives, feeling whole before anything outside of you proves it. This isn't delusion, it's alignment. The quantum field is not testing your patience, it's responding to your vibration. When your thoughts and emotions match the timeline of your desired life, the field collapses in your favor, not as a reward, but as a law. Let this land deeply. You don't manifest from the energy of needing. You manifest from the vibration of knowing. Knowing that everything already exists, and that your frequency is the key. So the next time you feel stuck, ask yourself, what am I trying to attract that I haven't yet become? What future am I keeping at bay by refusing to feel it now? Because if reality is a mirror, then every shift begins not with trying harder, but with tuning deeper. Reality is not something to be earned, chased, or attracted. It's something to be accessed through the most powerful technology you possess, your frequency. Every time you say, I want this, the quantum field listens. But not to your words, to your vibration. And most of the time, what it hears is, I don't have it yet. Let that sink in. When you try to attract something from a state of absence, you emit lack. When you desire something with desperation, you anchor in the frequency of not having. And this is the paradox that keeps so many souls stuck in endless cycles of almost manifestation. They want a new reality, but they haven't yet become the self who lives in it. You don't manifest what you want, you manifest what you are. This isn't about moral worthiness or spiritual judgment. It's pure frequency. The quantum field doesn't respond to your longing. It responds to your alignment. So if your energy says, "One day I'll get there," then that one day stays just out of reach because you're not resonating with the now, where it already exists. Here's the truth. You can't hold a reality that you're not emotionally compatible with. Even if it arrives temporarily, it will slip away. Why? Because your subconscious will sabotage it to protect your current identity, the self you keep confirming with your feelings, thoughts, and daily vibration. Think of your energy like a radio signal. You can't tune into 101.1 FM while broadcasting 87.5. No matter how much you want to hear the music of your dream life, if your system is still tuned to fear, doubt, control, or impatience, you won't pick it up. Not because it's not there, but because you're not yet there. This is where the ego subtly interferes. The ego thrives in the gap between who you are and what you want. It lives in the tension of "I'll be happy when." It feeds off the illusion that something is missing, and so it drives you to seek, to strive, to push harder. But the field doesn't respond to effort. It responds to coherence. And coherence happens not when you try harder, but when you drop deeper, into trust, into presence, into vibrational congruence. Bruce Lipton's work in epigenetics reveals this beautifully. Your biology is constantly responding to your internal environment. The cells of your body don't just follow the physical world. They follow the energy of your beliefs, your emotions, your frequency. This means that your body, and therefore your actions, habits, and decisions, will always align with who you believe you are. So ask yourself honestly, are you trying to attract love while still vibrating in self-protection? Are you trying to manifest abundance while still vibrating in scarcity? Are you visualizing your dream life while emotionally anchoring in fear? If so, you're not broken. You're just broadcasting from the wrong signal. To collapse a new reality, you don't need more willpower. You need more vibrational integrity. You must feel it before you see it. Embody it before you evidence it. Become it before you believe it. This is where identity work becomes sacred. The version of you who lives in your desired reality. What do they feel? How do they walk, breathe, speak? What do they no longer tolerate or fear? These are not performance questions. They are frequency questions. Because when you begin to embody even a fraction of that version now, you start to merge timelines. You shift from hoping to holding, from trying to tuning. It's a subtle but powerful shift. You're no longer trying to get there. You realize you're already on the path, and every emotional alignment is a step. Every moment you respond differently, every thought you elevate, every limiting belief you dissolve, you are collapsing the gap between who you were and who you're becoming. And that collapse is what the universe reads as readiness. Let's bring this home with a simple truth. You don't get what you're not willing to become. That doesn't mean forcing yourself into someone you're not. It means remembering who you truly are beyond the noise of fear and old stories. The moment you stop trying to attract from absence and begin to create from presence, everything begins to move. Not because you're chasing it, but because you've become the magnet, the match, the mirror. And in the quantum world, that's all it takes. You won't hear it. You won't see it. You won't even know at first that something monumental just happened. But the moment your vibration shifts, reality begins to collapse. Not collapse as in falling apart. Collapse as in choosing, crystallizing, solidifying a possibility into form. That's the true meaning of collapsing reality in the quantum world. Not destruction, creation, not effort, alignment, and the most important truth of all, it doesn't come with fireworks. The quantum shift is silent, subtle, internal. At first, it looks like nothing changed, but everything did. Your frequency reorganized, your timeline tilted, your emotional signature started vibrating closer to the version of reality you've been trying to attract, and the universe, like a mirror, started bending to reflect it. But because we are conditioned by the third-dimensional mind, we doubt it. We look around and think, nothing's changed. So we revert. We question. We fall back into the lower frequency that feels familiar, even if it no longer fits. Don't. This is the most fragile, most sacred moment of quantum manifestation, the unseen shift. You see, the 3D world moves in time. The quantum field does not. It responds instantly to energetic coherence. But your senses, your eyes, ears, logic, may take time to catch up to what your soul already activated. That's why faith isn't just a spiritual virtue. It's a vibrational stabilizer. When you hold your alignment after you shift, even when you see no evidence, you're telling the field, this is who I am now. And that consistency is what deepens the signal, amplifies the frequency, and accelerates the collapse. Let's make this tangible. You decide to become abundant, you meditate, you feel peace, you shift out of lack. That moment is a collapse. The field begins to move. But then, your bank balance doesn't change overnight. Your old fears whisper. And you wonder if anything actually happened. It did. But it's invisible. For now. Like a seed beneath the soil, the collapse begins in darkness. It restructures your energy. It reprograms your magnetic field. And as you hold that state, as you remain abundant in feeling, the outer world starts bending. People show up. Ideas spark. Synchronicities flow. You don't need to chase it. You just need to maintain the match. This is where quantum coherence becomes essential. Coherence is when your brain and heart vibrate in harmony. Your thoughts support your feelings, and your feelings sustain your identity. Studies by the HeartMath Institute show that when this harmony is present, your electromagnetic field becomes more powerful, ordered, and clear. You become a precise transmitter, a clean signal, and the field always responds to the clearest signal. So when your heart says, I already have it, and your mind agrees, boom, collapse. This is why surrender is not passivity. It's power. It's not giving up on your dream. It's giving up the need for it to appear in a certain way or time. Because you already collapsed it the moment you vibrated with certainty. Abraham Hicks calls this the receptive mode. It's not the mode of trying, proving, or begging. It's the mode of readiness, of openness, of knowing. And from that knowing, you receive, not because you finally deserve it, but because you're finally aligned with it. Let's be clear, you won't see the moment your reality shifts, but you will feel it. A sudden peace, a surge of clarity, a soft joy with no reason. That's your cue. That's the echo of the collapse. That's the real beginning of change. When you're no longer fighting for your new life, you're living from it. So the next time you feel that invisible shift, stay there. Don't reach for proof. Don't panic when the world takes a moment to reflect what already shifted within. Hold your frequency. The world will follow. Because manifestation isn't about creating something new. It's about becoming something true. And once you do, reality has no choice but to meet you there. There is a moment, and subtle but profound, when you realize the universe isn't testing you, punishing you, or withholding anything from you. It's just responding. The quantum field isn't emotional. It doesn't see what you want and ask if you're worthy of it. It doesn't check your past, your karma, or your goals. It only reads one thing: your frequency. It mirrors it, faithfully, precisely, every time. That's why life sometimes seems confusing, because your conscious mind is asking for one thing while your vibration is radiating something completely different. You may be visualizing abundance but vibrating in scarcity. You may be affirming love but resonating with fear of rejection. You may be dreaming of freedom but emotionally tethered to control, doubt, or comparison. And the field? It doesn't debate or evaluate. It simply reflects back to you what you are being consistently. It's not personal. It's vibrational. This is the great shift of awareness. Manifestation isn't about convincing the universe of what you want. It's about tuning your energy into alignment with the version of you who already has it. That version of you already exists. It's already alive in the field. But you can't experience it from a frequency that contradicts it. The field cannot deliver the frequency of peace through the vibration of chaos. It cannot bring you the experience of worth through the emotion of self-doubt. It's not because you're unworthy. It's because the vibrations simply don't match. So what do? You stop focusing on controlling outcomes and start curating your inner state. You begin the sacred discipline of observing your own thoughts, not judging them, but becoming aware of them. You feel into your emotional baseline, not just how you feel once in a while, but how you feel habitually, because it's your baseline that broadcasts the signal. It's the frequency you hold when no one is watching. That sets the tone for your reality. When you start taking responsibility for what you're sending out, everything changes. You shift from victim to creator. You stop asking, "Why is this happening to me?" and begin asking, "What am I vibrating that's calling this in?" Not from guilt, not from blame, but from awareness and from power. The field is your mirror. But most people keep trying to change the reflection without changing the face they're showing it. They try to manifest more money without healing their story of lack. They try to find love without becoming someone who feels lovable. They try to shift their outer world without ever examining their inner one. And the field continues to respond. So here's the moment of activation. Ask yourself right now, what am I consistently observing? What am I emotionally repeating? What frequency am I living in? Not just when I meditate, but in everyday life. This is not about perfection. It's about consistency. It's about choosing over and over again to return to the frequency of who you want to be, until that frequency becomes familiar, and then it becomes reality. When you realize the field is neutral, you reclaim all your power. Because if it's not judging you, it's also not limiting you. There are no energetic gatekeepers, only energetic agreements, and you can renegotiate them starting now. With every breath, every belief, every moment of presence, you're casting votes into the field. You're saying, "This is who I am," and the universe responds as you wish. So let this be the shift. You don't have to earn your dream life. You just have to match it. You have to broadcast it, and you have to do it with the emotional integrity of someone who's already there. That's why this moment matters. This is your moment to stop reacting and start radiating, to stop begging and start broadcasting, to stop explaining and start embodying, because the field is already listening. If this message resonated with you, type in the comments below. I am choosing what to see. Let the act of writing it be a vibrational anchor, a signal to the universe that you are now watching life through the lens of creation, not reaction. There is a frequency within you, subtle, powerful, ancient, that the universe is quietly listening to. Not your words, not your rituals, not your vision boards, but the silent, coherent vibration that you carry beneath it all. This is the energy that creates timelines. This is the code the quantum field responds to, and most people miss it. Not because they're doing it wrong, but because they're trying too hard. You don't have to convince the universe. You have to match it. Here's the truth. Manifestation isn't about intensity. It's about coherence, emotional coherence, energetic integrity, alignment between what you think, what you feel, and what you are. The quantum field is not a wish-granting machine. It's a responsive mirror. It does not reward hard work. It reflects coherent vibration. That's why desperation repels. That's why forced positivity falls flat. That's why saying one thing and feeling another creates confusion in your timeline. The field is neutral. It doesn't judge. It doesn't ask why you want what you want. It doesn't check your worthiness. It simply amplifies your signal. And the cleaner, clearer, and more congruent your signal is, the faster reality bends. Coherence is what turns a scattered wish into a gravitational command. Let's ground this. What does it look like to live in coherence? It looks like waking up and aligning with gratitude before strategy. It looks like making choices that your future self would thank you for. It looks like feeling peace even when results haven't arrived, because you know you're already on the frequency. That's the shift. When you stop micromanaging outcomes and start cultivating alignment. When your trust becomes your tuning fork. And here's the miracle. The moment you fully align, mentally, emotionally, energetically, you don't have to chase. What's meant for you becomes magnetic. You stop trying to force things to happen and they start unfolding through you. Because the quantum field isn't activated by pressure, it's activated by presence. Let's take it deeper. Every time you enter a state of true coherence, your heart emits a powerful electromagnetic signature that communicates with the field in real time. That signal is stronger than your thoughts, stronger than your plans. It's you, stripped of resistance, tuned to truth. You don't need perfect circumstances. You need a coherent signal. You don't need more knowledge. You need more embodiment. You don't need to manifest harder. You need to remember who you already are. Because here's the highest truth. You're not waiting for your future. Your future is waiting for your coherence. And when that clicks in, when your vibration stabilizes in truth, peace, wholeness, the collapse happens naturally. The shift becomes effortless. Be coherent. That's when timelines shift. That's when the field responds. That's when manifestation stops being a practice and starts being your natural state of being. The field is listening. The only question is, what are you broadcasting? If you want to continue expanding with us, I invite you to take the next step inward. Subscribe to the Quantum Shift newsletter. It's free, and it's where our community goes deeper. The link is in the pinned comment.